Alrighty, what is up, guys? Welcome on to the live stream. I just want to go ahead and thank everybody who is hopping on for YouTube. Quickly, I just want to pull up the live stream myself, and then we'll dive right in. So we're gonna start off with introductions, and we're gonna talk about the brand, ICECO as a company, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on to the main theme for today, which is the APL series. So let me actually just go ahead and pull up the live, so that way I'll be able to see if everything's working. And if you guys have any comments or questions throughout the live, then at least I'll be able to answer it. So let me just go ahead and pull it up myself. That way, can ensure everything's all good. Okay, awesome. So we do have the live up and running. Quick introduction for those, if it's your first time on a YouTube live stream, my name is Hayden. I work here at ICECO as customer support, tech support. I pretty much help with diagnostics, repairs on these fridges, hands-on, as well as diagnostics over the phone, email, social media, you name it. I'm pretty much all over the digital space, helping people with the diagnostics. And then at the local shows, I am there to provide tech support and assistance to those who have questions or concerns about the fridges they are looking at in our booths. And then obviously on the side gig, I do these live streams here on the YouTube, Amazon, and Facebook platform. So I'm all over the digital space helping, talk about products, do demos, and kind of talk about, characteristics of these fridges and then pricing that revolves around them. And yeah, that's pretty much who I am, and that's what I do. Little personal info, I love to go camping, a huge overlander. I used to overland quite a bit, and then now I'm kind of just going out doing daytime activities, mostly doing snowboarding up in the weekends. So I'm a very outdoorsy person, I'm not just here sitting on a desk all day, every day. Usually I really like to go out and do things. So typically on the weekends, it would either consist of working on my truck or going camping, snowboarding, mountain biking, working out, all that kind of stuff. So I'm very active, and I love to be part of the community. So ICECO as a company. What exactly is ICECO? If it's your first time on this live, you just saw it pop up on your feed, or you're just wondering what exactly is ICECO, what do they do? Well, ICECO actually makes and manufactures portable fridges and freezers. Essentially, you have your traditional cooler, right? I'm sure everyone knows that. You throw in your ice cubes, throw in your food, your drinks, and you're good to go. Then we decide to kind of put a spin on it, right? We want to offer a portable fridge and freezer for those who are looking to be off-road for a lot longer and don't have to rely on ice. Ice is a big component when it comes to ensuring when your food is cool and at the right temperature. And in often cases, some people are going to be away from home for a week or maybe even longer, fully nomadic, always on the road, and they can't just rely on a cooler all the time, constantly driving to a grocery store, refilling up, and waiting for that next time when the ice will start to melt and possibly cause your food to spoil. And that's exactly where we come in by offering a luxurious alternative where you could pretty much just plug your fridge and freezer into a power outlet, 12 volt or 110 volt, and you pretty much have a portable fridge and freezer that will allow you to go all the way down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit and ensure that your food is either frozen or refrigerated. So that's a very big factor when it comes to the off-roading, overlanding, or just looking for a portable fridge and freezer. I gotta say, these things are super convenient. They make your life a whole lot easier, especially with summer around the corner. You're definitely gonna need one of these because it is getting hot. Even today, I was just driving around and my car was warming up just sitting there in the sunlight. And I have a fully black truck, so I'm definitely gonna be experiencing the effects of the heat coming July, August, June, once we enter in the summer era. So that's really gonna be a big component. I actually do have a fridge in the back of my truck, so I'll make sure I have that thing on all the time. and I'll have drinks back there. So when I do get hot, then at least I'm covered, you know? So we're actually gonna dive into the first fridge for today, which is gonna be part of the live stream benefits right over here. So we're gonna be talking about the Go 20 plus the cover. So first product is gonna be the Go 20. Here in front of me, you are gonna notice that this fridge is pretty much has a gray exterior. Your control panel is gonna be at the very top over here for making your adjustments. And then you're gonna have a plastic tub interior right over here where you pretty much throw all your food and drinks. And for the Go 20, we do offer them in 2 different colors. So we've got the gray and then we've got the white right over here. And then bear in mind, we are also gonna be doing a little bit of diagnostics or just kind of demoing diagnostics for the fridges themselves. So if you are on our live stream and you're looking for or seeking technical assistance, then we'll just do a quick coverage over the what people might encounter when you own your fridge or a portable fridge and freezer for a very long time. So as for the Go 20, we offer them in the single zone and the dual zone. My personal recommendation would be to go with the dual zone if you're looking for something a little bit more intricate, such as freezing and refrigeration. So you're looking for ice cream in one zone and then food, drinks in the other zone. If you're looking for something that's very simple, something that's a little bit more reliable, then you would want to go for a solely single zone fridge. Just because that way you don't have to play around with 2 different zones, you don't have a valve solenoid, you don't have more extra components, internal components and external components for the Go series, and same applies for all the models that we offer. So we offer in 2 different types. I'd personally just go for the dual zone just because you do have the ability to freeze ice cream and then take it to a local soccer game, to the beach, wherever you're going. That's exactly what the Go series is intended for. It's intended to be very light, portable, throw your drinks and everything and you're good to go. I mean, I kid you not, this thing is super light. You can pretty much just take it with you, throw it in the back seat of your car, and you are good to go. So, and these things run off of 12 volt and 110. So you can plug it into your wall or you can plug it into your car, which is exactly what they're intended for, and that's what they are good for. So as for the fridges themselves, quick pricing, we are gonna be selling the gray, I believe, with the cover for $449. Let me actually just go ahead and check back on the pricing so that way I'm actually giving you, accurate information, because you guys don't want to be getting wrong information, right? So let me just go ahead and verify it so that way I will be able to tell you what our pricing is. Our pricing tends to change every now and then, and I just want to make sure everything is exact. So for the Go 20, we are offering the white fridge for $381.65 off of the original price of $449. And then as for the gray, that one is going to be full price. So yeah, that one is full price right now at $449. So if you're looking for a fridge, at least a good starter fridge, right? The Go series are great for starter fridges because you don't know if you want to get a really big fridge or a small one, and you don't even know if you're really going to use it. So getting yourself an entry-level fridge definitely helps to see if you're going to be enjoying yourself with a portable fridge and freezer, and that's exactly what the Go series is for, right? It's very universal, very portable, and that would be my recommendation for a good starter fridge. So actually, the white is going to be cheaper at $381, and I think the gray one is actually sold out on our website, if I'm correct. I just searched it right now. It says the gray one is sold out. So that's actually a very popular color. A lot of people do like the gray. So yeah, I think we're out of inventory for the gray one itself. So if you want to wait on the gray, be my guest. But if none of the colors really matter to you and you're just looking for something that's cheap, good price, good discount, then I would just go with the white color because that one is 15% off, if I'm correct. Yes, it is 15% off. So you do get yourself a pretty nifty discount. And to be honest with you, for the discounts we're running right now, the most we're gonna be able to do for the newer fridges is gonna be 15% off. So you're actually getting the biggest discount that you possibly can at the moment for the Go series. And yeah, so that would be the 2 that I'd recommend. The last thing would be the cover. The insulating cover is great. It fits right into a pocket. In fact, let me just go ahead and go off screen and bring that cover because I happen to just throw it to the side, and I'll just grab that cover so I can show you what it looks like. And then for the cover, I believe we do sell it at $79, if that is correct. Yes, so the insulated cover is full price at $79. It's great as an external form of protection. So if you move the fridge around a lot, you have kids that are going to be throwing in, soccer balls, gear, equipment, all that kind of stuff in the trunk or in the bed. and you don't want stuff hitting up against your fridge, especially with the plastic encasing on the outside. Don't get me wrong, the plastic is strong, but you just don't want to be getting scratches and all sorts of damage to the fridge itself. So for installation on the cover, it's very simple, it's very easy. It already comes with all 4 corners connected, so all you have to do is just really take the fridge, like so, align it with the cover, so make sure that the power side is going to be facing to where that mesh is, and you're just going to go ahead and drop it right into that cover, and then you're just pretty much going to tuck it in, make sure it's nice and snug, like so, and then you're just going to fold the top side and secure them down with these Velcros. And as you can see, you do have the space blanket interior as added form of insulation and protection. You are going to find that this cover is probably going to be about an 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch thick. So you do get a decent amount of protection. However, I will say the light gray is kind of prone to getting dirty. If you're going to be off-roading a lot where there's lots of dirt, lots of dust, especially in the Arizona deserts, you might find yourself getting the cover dusty. But if it's just going to be in the trunk of your car, then no worries. I would like to recommend the cover because the Go series is exactly meant to be taken out of the vehicle, and having a protective cover will allow you to ensure the fridge is protected, and that insulation is going to be the main factor, right? If you leave a fridge out in direct sunlight, that lid tends to heat up. All other corners tend to heat up, get really warm, and now that heat kind of just transmits over to the fridge itself, and now you have a compressor that's working a lot harder to try and ensure a stable internal temperature of the fridge, and in turn having this cover really does boost the efficiency of that compressor. So it doesn't have to work as hard, but regardless, we do use high performance compressors for our fridges. They are the ICECO compressors, so they are pretty much intended to operate at a 40-degree tilt, so they'll work totally fine when you're off-roading, overlanding. If you really want to go 20 off-roading, overlanding, I wouldn't exactly recommend it because we offer other ones that are better for off-roading, overlanding, and in contrast to the Go 20. The Go 20 is just a very, like, you know, a very light version, right? It's very friendly, user-friendly, and it looks friendly. That's the whole point of the Go series. It's a very universal fridge. Anybody can use it. Your mom, your dad, you know, kids, family, you know, neighbors, friends of neighbors, friends of a friend, you know, anybody can use that fridge and it will be totally fine. And then of course, we do have a 5-year warranty on the fridge itself, and that applies for all the fridges that we sell here at ICECO. Now the next product I want to talk about is going to be the JP Pro Series, if I'm correct, actually. I think it's the JP or the JP Pro Series. Let me just go ahead and verify. Yeah, so the JP Pro, we are offering a JP 40 Pro plus the PB250 for $559. So that's actually going to be this fridge right over here. Let me go ahead and just remove all this excess weight on top of it. Sorry, I have the tendency to stack my fridges because I just have so many of them right here. So for the JP40, this is exactly what it's going to look like. I'm going to keep it very brief and very short, and then we're going to move on to the main theme for today. JP40 Pro, going to have a magnetic panel that wraps around the entire outside. This is great for your PB250 right over here. 250-watt battery pack will power something like a JP40 Pro for 8 to 12 hours. That's exactly what we say on our website, but that's continuous power. That's continuous power, so that means the fridge is always on, going down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's in direct sunlight, then it'll be working a lot harder. But there have been many, many cases where a lot of people have gotten 1 day out of it, 2 days, 3 days, and even 4. Myself and a couple other people I know have managed to get 4 days out of a PB250. Why? Because the JP40 that I use, single zone, is going to be in the bed, or sorry, the cabin of my truck. So not in the bed where it's outside, prone to being hit by the sun or being affected by ambient temperature. It's in the bed where if I run my AC, it's temperature controlled environment. And at the nighttime, it gets pretty cold or pretty chilled, so that means I can extend the use out of my PB250. So I've gotten 4 days straight out of a PB250 for a 250-watt battery pack that we sell for $129. So I would say that's not a bad deal. And then as for the specs of the JP40 Pro, you are going to have a 2-directional lid, so a lid that opens up from one side and a lid that opens up from the back side. Your display or your control panel is going to be right on the front, right over here, where the extended handle is going to be. On the rear, you're going to have these large little wheels, pretty much to help you wheel around your drinks. If you throw cans, bottles, heavier items, then the JP Pro Series would be ideal to have. That way you don't have to kind of lift up a fridge to your campsite or have to deal with lifting beer cans or glass bottles in general. So it's just really nice to have something to kind of bear the weight while you're transporting it. And this is good for those who don't exactly tailgate or camp out of their rig all the time, right? Ground tent camping or gathering together in multiple rigs into one center campfire or a little group shared location. So really the JP Pro Series, and you can sit on it too, right? You can sit on it, you can stand on it, all that kind of stuff. These things are great to be used. And let me actually just demonstrate that real quick. So you can actually go ahead and stand on these and sit on these. I wouldn't exactly recommend it for extended use just because the lid is going to be comprised out of mostly plastic, but you won't exactly be warping the lid or damaging the lid whatsoever, but you can pretty much, beat on this thing and it'll take the beating just fine. That's exactly what it's intended for. Now, as for accessories that we offer for the JP40 Pro, you do have a cover that comes included with the purchase of the JP40, right? So you have a cover, protective cover, insulating, and additional protection included with the purchase. And you could still use the wheels with the cover wrapped around it. Now, I do have the cover right over there, but just gonna go ahead and skip that for now. It's gonna be a black cover, so it's not gonna be a light gray, less prone to dirt or stains, but it is gonna be black. And then, let's see what else. And then again, for the features, internal temperatures for the single zone, dual zone, both can go all the way down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty much the adjustments can be made from the control panel. If you do have yourself the dual zone, you are going to be having the ability to connect your phone to the JP Pro Series or connect it to Apple CarPlay. But you are going to find that the JP Pro Series, especially the Pro D, is going to be a little bit more expensive than the single zone, but that all depends on what you're looking for. If you're going to be doing fridge and freezer simultaneously, then the dual zone is going to be recommended. I'm going to go ahead and just pull off this lid. So for this two-directional lid, you can actually just pull the whole thing off, and now you have easy access. I'm going to go ahead and just tilt this thing so I can show you what the inside looks like. So for the single zone, you are going to have a textured metal interior. As for the dual zone, you're going to have a removable divider that you can go ahead and pull out, and then you're going to have this little plastic interior as well. So that's how the space is going to be divided. The small zone, which is intended for freezing, but you can also do it for refrigeration as well. And then the large zone, which is intended for refrigeration, but you can also do it for freezing as well. Both zones can go all the way down to -4 for the JP Pro Series. And you're going to have one LED light for ambient lighting and one UV light for sanitizing. So again, you're going to have that UV light to kind of help with ensuring the food is going to be one, sanitary, and any packaging, if you put your fingers in there, or if you happen to have chicken that spoils and potential salmonella, that blue light will help with ensuring the fridge is kind of clean. I would still recommend cleaning your fridge before and after uses, but that sanitizing light kind of helps ensure that your food is going to be sanitary when you reach in and grab it. Now, as for the JP Pro Series, we offer slides as well. These are great on slide systems. You can pretty much just mount it inside the trunk of your rig. So say, for example, you have a 4Runner or you have yourself a Wrangler, Sequoia, all of the above. You can mount these on top of slide systems or drawer systems. You can access the fridge from the inside, the back seats of the rig, or you can access the fridge when you are tailgating or camping out of the trunk of your rig. So you do have access on both sides. Some people like the two-directional lid. Some people are looking for something a little bit more simplistic. Again, we have options for everyone out there, and you don't have to just make your compromise on certain fridges. There is going to be a fridge that more or less meets the majority of your criteria that you might be looking for. All right, that's going to be enough of the live stream benefits. We're going to go ahead and move on to the main theme of today, which is going to be the APL series. As you can see, we have an APL 20, APL 35, APL 55, black, and silver. So the first one's going to be an APL 20. Now, oh, that's a 35 right there. I can't see. All right, APL 20, 20-liter fridge, fully aluminum casing, aluminum cast corners. So you're going to have pretty strong corners right here. They're great for protecting the fridge against any gear that might be bumping up against the fridge, or just more or less adding additional protection. So you are going to have this stop hinge integrated in most of the fridges. All the APL series are gonna have this like little hinge where you can open it partially, reach and grab what you need, and then you're ready to close it, you can go ahead and close it. But I would just open up the whole thing, you know, easy access. But if you have limited space, you can't open it all the way, then you can open up halfway and then grab what you need. The APL 20 is gonna be a single zone fridge only. So you are gonna have 2 compartments right over here, but you are gonna be, the whole reason behind this configuration is to maximize space, right? You have a large compartment for your more heavy and stronger items like cans, bottles, drinks that might be moving around a lot, or just, you know, you wanna keep all the more bulky and stronger items right over here. At the same time, if you wanna bring a sandwich or you wanna bring ice cream, you wanna bring delicate items too, that's exactly what the small compartment is for. A lot of people like to just throw Smucker's peanut butter jelly sandwiches in it, or microfiber towels as cooling rags. That would be great in the summertime, especially with the heat beating on you. If you're living towards a desert or more inland, then, you know, having a small compartment just for you know, a vast amount of things you could do would be nice to have. Now for the APL 20, the pricing is going to be $5.99, if I'm correct. Let me just go ahead and check back to verify. Sorry, the pricing is always changing for our fridges. So for the APL 20 single zone, you are going to be getting it for $4.99. So I was wrong. It's $4.99 for the fridge MSRP, so it's full price. And so yeah, what exactly makes this fridge better than the Go 20, right? The Go 20 was like 380 bucks. Why would I want to spend the extra, you know, $120 for an APL 20? Well, the main difference is going to be the fact that the fridge can go all the way down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to have a little bit more of a rugged design on the outside, so it's intended for more abuse. It looks exactly like a Zargus case, looks exactly like one of those old school protective cases where you just pretty much throw whatever you need and it's going to serve you well. For the APL series on the display, you are going to be having a little bit more features, right? For the Go series, you're just going to power it on. You're going to pretty much tap those arrows, and you're going to have a little snowflake that you tap for your performance mode. So the design on the display is not going to be very intuitive in comparison to an APL 20, which offers a little bit more, right? You're going to be able to monitor your voltage. You're going to be able to adjust your battery sensitivity, which is one big factor, right? 12-volt cigarette lighters are notorious for draining batteries. I myself I've had to deal with it numerous times. Dead batteries is just no fun. You have to charge the battery up, you gotta jump it some way, or you have to replace the battery if it's old. And all in all, a dead battery is just not fun. The battery protection module that we integrate into 99% of our models, except for the Go 20, pretty much monitors the voltage that's coming in. As soon as that there is a drop in voltage, it's actually going to trip the system in order to protect your battery or external battery that you're using to power the fridge and protect the fridge as well. So pretty much if it senses that there's 11.5, it'll cut power in order to protect that battery rather than dropping it all the way down to 0 or until you catch on if you are going to be camping out of your rig. And that's a little nice feature that we included in all of our fridges. Next, you are going to have a designated Eco mode and a Max mode. Eco mode is going to be very good on the energy saving side, so our fridges are very efficient in power consumption. For more information, just go ahead and go over to our website. We have exact dimensions, we have exact power consumption, and yeah, internal, external dimensions. Everything's going to be listed right over there. And it'll exactly tell you how many bottles, how many cans, and how much you could really fit into something as small as an APL 20. And you'd be surprised. You can fit a lot in this APL 20 if you're smart with how you configure your space. So yeah, that would be the main difference, is that you do have more features built into the APL 20, which is going to be right over here on your little display on the side. Additionally, the APL 20 is also going to be Bluetooth as well. The Go 20 is also Bluetooth, bear in mind, so you are able to connect that to your phone, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Same goes for the APL 20, so a lot of options that you can go with. Just the APL 20 is going to be a little bit more rugged, a little bit more stronger, and it's going to have just a little bit more options in comparison to the Go 20. Now we are going to go ahead and move on to a larger variant, which is the APL 35 right over here. So now we're going from a 20-liter fridge all the way up to a 35. So now just based off of looks, you can see that the APL 35 is very similar in design, you have the aluminum casing followed by the aluminum cast corners, the traditional latches that hold the lid down, and then you're gonna have that stop hinge pretty much where you can set the angle anywhere above 45 degrees, and it will pretty much, the lid will stay open that way. So what would be the main difference between a 35 and a 20? Why would I want to spend $699 versus $499? And that price difference is $200. $200 for an additional 15 liters of storage space. What would be the whole point? Well, the biggest difference is that the APL 35 is going to have built-in LED lights. So you have 2 LED lights for each zone, and the APL 35 is now a dual zone fridge. So it's a dual zone, and it's a fixed dual zone rather than it being a single zone fridge. And that would be a deciding factor for many who are looking for a lightweight portable fridge, something that's great for camping on the weekend, and something that's good for keeping in the back of the rig, having lots of drinks topped off in there, and running the system that way. So that would be the whole reason why the APL 35 would be a better option. I would personally think the APL 35 would be a better option because you do get a lot more utility, and the 35 is going to be far more versatile than the 20, where it has limited space. It's a single zone only, and as for the 35, you can see you do have a lot of internal space which you can work with, and that's just for a 35-liter fridge. And both zones can go all the way down to -4. Small zone, large zone, both can refrigerate, so both fridge and freezer. And the built-in LED lights, you have Bluetooth capabilities enabled. On the display, you're going to be able to independently adjust the temperature for each zone. And then you are going to have a USB outlet right beside it for charging your phone or any USB devices. And yeah, so that would be the main difference between the 35 and the 20. So, yeah, and if you had to pick a starter fridge, I would choose either the Go 20, but if you're able to stretch your budget, I would recommend the 35, just because the 35 does offer a little bit more space, and you're gonna find that it's a lot stronger, it's a lot more durable, and will definitely last a lot longer. But we do have 5-year warranties for everything. It just really comes down to how reliable it's going to be and how strong and durable the fridge is really going to be for you when you're using it. So as you can see, massive footprints on it, standing on it, and you can sit on it, stand on it, use it totally fine that way. It's pretty much just built like a regular case. The lid is going to be supported by the entirety of the fridge, so the whole force is just dispersed over the actual walls of the fridge itself. So that's gonna be enough of the 35. The 35 is great. I would probably just call it a weekend warrior. It's great for weekend camping. It's great for just carrying tons of drinks or camping for 1-2 people, daytime activities as well. So it's just very versatile, and that would be the reason I recommend it. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the 55 liters, which is the APL 55 Silver. So we're gonna be doing this guy right over here at 55 Silver. So let me just go ahead and bring this on. And now this one's one of my disposal fridges, so it is going to have a display. That would actually be a good opportunity to talk about a little diagnostic. So right over here, we do have the APL 55 Silver. First glance, I mean, we sell this on our website. This fridge is very popular, especially amongst a lot of people, just because the 55 is the right size, 55 liters. You do have that one directional lid. You have super tight latches that ensure a very solid seal, and the seal itself is just like, this thing is extremely thick. So you do have a great way of trapping that cold air on the inside of the fridge. It is going to be a removable dual zone, so you are going to have a divider, which you can go ahead and slide out and use as a cutting board if you wanted to. And then you have tons of baskets included, 2 baskets for each zone, allowing for stacking and organizing your food. You are going to have 2 LED lights for ambient lighting, and you are going to have a drain plug at the very bottom for any sort of spillage. You are going to have the lid as a soft close too, as you can see, nice little soft close feature. And these latches are just absolutely tight. For the display, it's going to be top mounted right over here. Let me go ahead and tilt it. So the display is going to be top mounted, so you can make your adjustments from the top right over here. You can pretty much adjust both zones all the way down to -4. It's Bluetooth capable, connected to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, totally fine. You can also throw it on slides, drawer systems. Now, what exactly would be the reason to go with a 55 over the 35, right? Out of all the fridges that we sell, I would say the 55 brings the most utility to the table. As the most powering options, you're gonna have 2 USB outlets for any of your devices right over here, a designated AC plug-in, designated DC plug-in, and not only that, on the rear, you're gonna have 1 designated DC plug-in and 2 additional USB ports in the rear. So you could literally charge 4 devices through USB from this fridge alone, and you're gonna have lots of plug-in options for the front and the rear. Now, the exterior, you're gonna have this nice stainless finish. A lot of people like that. It's, again, very strong, very durable. You can stand on it, sit on it. You can kick it around. This fridge can take a beating totally fine. Extremely durable. And in fact, these fridges do have an IPX4 rating, so they are intended to handle short bursts of rain, condensation outside, or just overall wet conditions, just not, you know, consistent heavy rain. I mean, at that point, what are you using the fridge for if it's just in the rain, getting absolutely drenched? Because we do have vents on the outside right over here, which could, you know, result in rain going into that vent and then seeping onto the electronics. But with that IPX4 rating, these things are great outdoors and they can handle, you know, some extent of the rain. You are going to have a built-in Eco and Max mode, so again, energy saving mode and your performance mode. Spring-loaded handles like so you can pretty much just, you know, tie down this fridge. Now, I would recommend the 55 for more stationary setups because it's quite heavy, weighing in at, I believe, 60 pounds or 58 pounds to be exact. I don't know the exact number, but you can go ahead and just check it out on our website. And, you know, it's kind of a pain to have to lift this fridge out of your rig and put it back in consistently. So there have been cases where I know a lot of people who had the 55, or actually they still have it, but they ended up also buying a 35 because they found that the 55 was not exactly portable, or they changed the whole dynamic of you know, using a fridge. So the 55 is great for stationary setups. For some, it might be cumbersome because of the one directional lid that opens up from the front to back. So it might hit the ceiling of your rig. But for others, this is great, especially for the bed of your truck, or in other scenarios where space is not really a concern. This is going to be an absolutely stellar fridge for overlanding and off-roading. And this would be my recommendation as someone who works in tech. One, because it's super reliable, it's durable, and the cooling is extremely efficient, because just by the sound of those latches, you can guarantee no cold air is going to be seeping through those seals whatsoever. And then we obviously do utilize the ICECO compressors, so we have high-end compressors to get down in those temperatures, enabling fast cooling. Now I'm gonna go ahead and talk about, just throw it out there, a miscellaneous question. You know, some common asked questions I get from people when they do receive their ICECO fridge and freezer is, you know, FedEx delivered my fridge upside down. They just deliver it on a side. Do I go ahead and just power it right away? The answer is gonna be obviously no, do not do that. One, because you need to let the oil settle in the compressor, so wait at least 24 hours before powering your fridge on again, and then power it on, and then monitor the fridge to make sure that there's no deviation in temperature, make sure that everything's working fine and totally cool. I'm saying this because FedEx has the tendency to kind of mistreat our products despite the big bold lettering on the outside of the box saying fragile, do not set on side, you know, be careful. And regardless, FedEx, you know, proceeds to not care about our labels and, you know, throws our boxes on the side upside down or mistreats them. So keep an eye out for that. That would be one thing I would recommend just looking out for. For some of your carriers might be very nice and gentle with those packages, and some other carriers might not really care when it comes to dealing with the ICECO fridges and freezers. And then what's another thing? Powering issues. This is obviously something that you won't encounter when you first use your fridge, but if you do encounter it eventually, it's not about if, it's about when, and that's exactly what we come to when operating an ICECO. And that's exactly why we have that 5-year warranty, right? So if you have any problems within that 5-year warranty, it is my responsibility, is my task to help you with diagnostics. Diagnostics is going to be the first step, and it's going to be repair. We're going to be sending out components for repair if I know if it's an electrical issue. And then finally, we are going to be doing warranty. So that's going to be the last step that we do. And as for warranty, we do send brand new replacements within the first year. And then after the first year, it's going to be after sales replacements, either an A class or a B class. A class being a fridge that was bought and returned within the first 30 days, and then B class being a fridge that was returned or taken back and refurbished. And that typically you would receive a B class anywhere north of 3 to 5 years within your warranty, and then an A class within 1 to 2 years of your warranty. So really depends where you're at. The whole reason why we operate off this system is because we want to ensure that people are still getting solid fridges, and I'm pretty tight when it comes to my requirements for what is an A class and what is a B class. If I see anything as to a small scratch on a fridge, it's going to be a B class. So those folks, if you're going to be receiving a B class fridge, fret not, because I go through pretty tough requirements when it comes to ensuring if a fridge is an A class or a B class. But that's just a little, I just want to fill you guys in on what we do for diagnostics and what I do here when it comes to classifying our fridges for as refurbished units. Now, one common issue I would say some people encounter over time, whether if it's with the original VL, so like the VL60, VL65, or might be any of the fridges, would be an E1 error code. That's probably the most common code that you'll encounter, either later on where one of the electrical components fails, or dust gathers on one of the tabs, or a tab releases from one of the outlets and now it's not turning on anymore, or if it's not working right, something's shorting out. The E1 code is going to be the most common. And let me go ahead and just point your eyes over to the inside of this fridge right over here. So now an E1 error code would be most common when one, you have problems with either the AC or the DC. It could be a potential short from any of them. So you do have like tabs broken off, or you have one of the positive or negative cables or terminals touching each other, or being extremely loose, which could result in a bad connection. And another code, another result where you could get an E1 code would be the box right over here. So there's a black box that mount right beside the compressor. It's your power control module, responsible for receiving AC and DC power and transmitting that over to the ICECO compressor that we use in the fridge right over here. So we do have the APL 55 with a compressor over here, and you might be receiving an E1 error code there. So to troubleshoot E1 error codes, which is probably the most common code that you'll see, is to take off this panel. One thing I want to let you guys know is that we do not void warranties for trying to diagnose your fridge. In fact, we encourage it. We encourage those to pull apart your access panel and see what exactly is going on the inside. That would be my recommendation, because you know, typically when you contact our customer support, they're going to ask you a bunch of questions. They're going to ask if you ran benchmark tests. They're going to ask if you put cups of water on the inside. And going back and forth on email or through call, after running all those tests that they've now just requested you to do, then they'll proceed to either sending repair or parts for repair, or move you on to someone else who might know more or help with the diagnostics. So really running those benchmark tests and doing everything necessary before you call customer support is essential to having a good experience when you are going to be contacting them, just because they're going to ask very generic questions, and you're better off just kind of solving that problem yourself or figuring out the answer to that problem before you even call it customer support. Now, some of which would be, again, the cup of water on the inside or bottles of water on the inside. So that would be taking photos or videos of your fridge when it's on. It's been on for a couple of hours and one side's not cooling. Take a photo of that and keep that in your records. Other one would be the E1 error code. Take a photo of that E1 error code. Take a photo on the inside of your access panel. So again, we don't void warranties for pulling out this access panel and kind of seeing what's wrong with the fridge. So by all means, tamper with it and kind of play around with it, clean around. That's probably gonna be another thing as well. If you clean around, you clean dust off of these tabs, you might get rid of that E1 error code. Typically that's what happens sometimes. And cleaning dust, cleaning the compressor, cleaning the fan, especially if you use the fridge for many, many years, you are gonna be wanting to clean that, because you do boost the efficiency of your fan, compressor and ensure that you have a clean area. So it's pretty much just maintaining your fridge. And yeah, that would be enough of the E1 error codes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the APL 55 black. That's enough of the silver. So we originally sold the silver. That was the first one, and then we came out with the black, which is a lot more stealthier. Some people like it. I personally like the black more just because it has a less of a out there kind of look. It's more stealthy. It's going to have, again, the same design, the exact same design. It's just going to be a different color, soft closing lid like so. So it's good for your fingers, good for your hands. Not going to get caught in those hinges and possibly hurt you, because none of us would want that. That would not be ideal. And yeah, in black. So what is the pricing, right? I've been showcasing this APL 55 for a minute. What exactly is the pricing for the APL 55? So now we do sell the APL 55 for $8.99. Let me just go ahead and check that as well. So yeah, $8.99 is going to be the price for the APL 55 silver and $8.99 for the APL 55 black. So again, these fridges, the 55 silver and black, those are very popular amongst a lot of people. You have lots of tie down solutions on the top. The handles would be the recommended mounting point. And then you do have the ability to hang solar panels off the side of the fridge. You have the ability to kind of do a lot of stuff with an APL 55. And we used to sell a trolley for the APL 55, but we are working on that instead. So you do have a trolley for portability, but that's obviously not the important part. The more important part is the fridge itself. And I gotta say that these things are absolutely stellar in performance. Let me just go ahead and power it on. Now, one cool feature about the APL 55 black, or the silver in general, is for the 55, they have a smart feature built into them. So when you do leave the lid open, it'll actually beep at you to let you know that you've left your lid open for too long. So again, you have two bright LED lights on the inside. You're gonna have a table right on the inside of the wall for recommended temperatures for your juices, your drinks, everything that you wanna throw on the inside right there. And you're gonna have a light on the outside too. So you have a nice little light. You can see what you're doing if the fridge is mounted like in the back of your rig, or if it's in a location where you wanna be able to see what you're doing, what you're grabbing. Again, because that's obviously a big factor. One dome light might not cut it, and that little extra light might do it, you know? All right, and I mean, again, we do have slides for these fridges as well. We offer slides for the APL 55. Again, drawer systems, accessory tie-down kits, everything for it, right, really. So these are nice fridges, and I would be definitely recommending you guys go ahead and pick one of these up. Let me just go ahead and see if this thing will warn me. Should do it any moment now, but yeah, pretty much you can adjust your temperature all the way down to -4 for both zones. It's going to be highlighted on the display so you can know exactly what zone you're adjusting. You can see the voltage that's coming in. You could toggle Bluetooth. You can toggle the audio as well. So when you make adjustments on your fridge, everything's audible. If you don't like the beeps, you can go ahead and disable that in the settings. Oh, there you go. So now the fridge is telling me to close the lid. So if you do leave the lid open for an extended period of time while the fridge is on, it'll tell you it wants to be closed, so it can get rid of that beep, like so. So that would be the APL 55. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the last two accessories, which is gonna be, I already talked about it before, but I would be another little preview of that. And again, these fridges you can go ahead and stand on. The APL 55s are very strong, they're very durable. The lids themselves, they're great all around when it comes to overall construction. That's obviously one of the big factors about the ICECO fridges and freezers that people love is the design, right? The fridge is not super rounded, it's not so oblong. It has a very nice, strong design, and it's not overdone. That's the big thing, right? People don't want fridges or designs that are overdone. It looks too tacky or just doesn't blend well with their system. So we went for a fridge that was simple, yet very intriguing in design. All right, so the first accessory I want to talk about is the PB250, right? This is a 250 watt battery pack where you have a 12 volt plug-in, one USB, and one USB-C. Now for the maximum output on that 12 volt, it is going to be 13.3 volts. 10 amps max, and then you are going to have 5 volts, 3 amps out of the Type-C cable port, and then you're going to have 5 volts, 2.4 amps out of the USB port right over here. And then you have your powering, which is input, which is 100 watts max. So you could charge this thing at about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on your power source, and use it again for 8 to 12 hours, or if not days, depending on how you're using the battery pack. So people often ask, how long can I use a PV250 for? What exactly can I get out of it if I'm powering something like a 35-liter fridge or 45-liter fridge? What can I get out of that battery pack? Well, my thing I like to say is it really comes down to how you're using the battery pack. People have gotten 8 hours out of it. People have gotten 4 days out of it, and that's a very big gap. The first thing is going to be the temperature. What temperature you're setting your fridge at? And the next thing is going to be the environment that the fridge is going to be in. If it's going to be in direct sunlight, you're really going to be getting 8 to 12 hours out of it, just because if the sun is beating on that fridge and the fridge has to work full power to ensure it gets down to that temperature and maintains it, then you're going to be getting 8 to 12 hours. However, if the fridge is in the cabin of your rig, or if it's in a shaded area, you're obviously going to extend the use out of this battery pack during the daytime and the nighttime. And again, that's where you can go up to, all the way up to a day, 2 days, 3 days. And if you're really efficient with your use of power, you can go all the way up to 4. So in many cases, it really depends on how you use it. But we tell people 8 to 12 hours, but what people really get is a lot more. We just say 8 to 12 hours of continuous power because that's what exactly we tested it for. And pricing for the PV250 is going to be $129. So you do get yourself a little nifty 250 watt battery pack for 130 bucks, which I would say is a good deal. It's super lightweight, super portable. These are magnetic too, so they have a magnetic backing. They're good to attach to your rig, attach to the fridges themselves, and you can go ahead and just run the power from this over to your fridge and you're good to go. So these things are really lightweight. I mean, you can go ahead and just throw them around, or you could just tuck them in the covers or the pockets of your back seats, the front seats when you do have yourself an SUV or a rig. And these just fit in a lot of tight spaces and they're great to have. In fact, a common system that a lot of people like to do with the PV250s would be to run a 12-volt plug from their rig to charge the PV250. And then they run a PV250 cable, the cable from the 12-volt all the way over to the fridge, and now they have yourself a cool system. So if you are going to be off-roading, overlanding, or tailgating, camping out of your rig, what you can go ahead and do is have the fridge run off of this. When the car is running and you're pretty much driving, it's going to be topping off this battery pack, and when the rig is off and you're camping, you're sleeping, it's going to be running off of the battery pack itself. So you have the 12-volt to power and top off the battery pack, and then the fridge can now rely on the battery pack when your rig is off rather than the 12-volt of your actual car battery. So very nice to have. Now the last accessory is going to be the solar panel. So as for the solar panel, this is just a portable powering solution we offer a lot of people. Some people don't want to go with a hard-mounted solar panel, or something very extreme for their rig, and that's exactly where we come in by offering a portable solar panel, right? It's a 2-fold solar panel. It's going to be having a maximum output of 80 watts. So you actually be able to charge yourself the PV250 for, again, about 3 hours to 3.5 hours, depending on sunlight. For the solar panel itself, you are going to have a retractable stand on the rear, which allows you to pretty much just set this thing on the ground, and then it's going to have little weighted legs or little stands on the back with these holes where you can pretty much just run a stake through them and tie them down and ensure this thing is stable. And then for the solar panel, you are going to be having a bag that's built into the solar panel itself right over here with this hard-mounted cable that runs from the solar panel all the way up to an input of something like the PV250, so you can actually run it directly into that PV250 and charge that battery pack while this thing is facing the sun. Now, as for pricing, this thing is going to be $139 if I'm correct. And again, the whole reason for going for a portable solar panel is because you don't want to be spending a lot of money on hard mounting solutions, or you don't know if you're going to be using it yourself, right? You have friends, family, a lot of people that go camping, and you just kind of borrow equipment And that'd be a great option. You know, portable solar panel is great. Charge your phone, charge your battery pack, all that kind of stuff. It's a very light, mobile way of solar power, rather than spending $500, $700 for solar panels, and then spending even more in accessories and supporting modifications. Now, a solar panel is good to use anywhere from -4 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 148. So it's good for the hot and it's good for the cold. Obviously, in more hotter scenarios where there's direct sunlight, the solar panel is going to be ideal. If you do happen to live farther up north where it's cloudy, lots of overcast, lots of rain, then the solar panel might not be a great option. But again, that really depends on your situation and how you want to use it. So let me go ahead and just chuck this in. Alrighty, folks, so that's actually going to be, I do have a little bit more time, so we're not going to wrap it up. We'll do, let me just go ahead and check to see if there's anything else left today. I know we have the live stream benefits. We talked about the fridges themselves, and I believe there is one more thing I need to talk about before we head out for today. So let me just go ahead and do a quick check. So let me just go ahead and check it real quick because I know we do have. All right. Okay, so one thing I wanted to quickly talk about is the time change. So we actually are going to be doing our live streams from 5 to 6 p.m. I know we caught you guys off guard for a quick moment there, but now we're kind of, for this week, especially when we're doing a live stream today, tomorrow on Amazon, and then the day after is going to be on YouTube. We are going to be doing our live streams from 5 to 6 p.m. Instead of the 2 to 3, which we did. And then next thing is that we are going to be doing quick Q&As every now and then, just to kind of ask questions. I want to make the live streams a little bit more interactive with you guys rather than just me talking and rambling on the whole time. That way we have some back and forth communication between you guys, and we'll do that kind of stuff. And then obviously we are going to be segmenting a part of the live stream for diagnostics, right? Quality issues, quality sharing with you guys, and like common problems that you might run into, just fridges in general, and how to resolve that. I'm not saying that it's going to be guaranteed, or if it's going to be like, you know, the first one you use, that's going to be all the way later down the road when you do encounter problems and you're on the road, and next thing you remember, hey, Hayden taught me this tip on how to diagnose this part. Let me go ahead and just implement that for the fridge, and that's exactly what I want to do here. So yeah, broadcast time is going to be now 5 to 6 p.m. Now, if you're going to be interested in getting notifications when we do these live streams here on YouTube, we do lots of, like, you know, demo on products, talk about pricing, and then obviously I'll answer questions if you guys have any questions whatsoever. Go ahead and hit the follow button or subscribe button here on YouTube. And then if you want to, you know, learn more about the products that we sell here at ICECO, go ahead and head on over to our official website, where we have the exact pricing, the dimensions, power consumption, everything in even more detail, in which that would be, you know, nice for you guys to kind of check out. And then again, we are going to be doing our live streams on other platforms as well. If you want to go ahead and check that out, that would be pretty much it for the live stream. So I'll actually catch you guys later for the next live stream on YouTube. And you guys have a good rest of your day if you're watching live, and a good day to those who are going to be watching my live stream later on. My name is Hayden. I work here at ICECO in tech customer support. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. And let me go ahead and make my way over to end this live. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.